Big data is the big buzzword, but what does it really mean? Mark Aboud, President and Managing Director of SAP Canada. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Someone said recently that big data is like the Supreme Court decision in the US on pornography. I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it.
Yes.
Is that true?
Well, it sort of feels like that to me as well. It's, there's a lot of definitions for what big data is. I can tell you big data is not data that's big. It's a lot of data. It's huge volumes of data. And I think why it's fuzzy is that everyone's got their constraints about how much data they can manage, depending on how much money they want to spend and what kind of technology they want to use. So big data to one company is not big data to another. And honestly, a lot I think depends on the budget.
Yeah. I mean, if you're decoding the human genome.
Right. You got big data.
You got big data. There's also a lot of unstructured data coming from the web and social media.
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
Well, it's got to be managed the same way as any kind of data, really. But and you get into unstructured data, you get into massive volumes of data, right? But you also get into like POS data, so point of sale data for big retailers. It's absolutely massive, and until today, recently, I mean, the companies have not been able to really mine that POS data for immediate trends. So I'll give you an example. So a company that works with us now looks at their POS data once a week, and they track the sales of their product once a week to see whether they're starting to decline in sales. If they start to decline in sales, they turn the tap off in China, much earlier than turn the tap off before. So in the old days, they would look every quarter to see our sales declining. Now they look every week. So it saves them a lot of money in a supply chain full of product that has no home or is going to be marked down when it hits North America.
All right. There's been recently a lot of vendors talking about InMemory Analytics. How does this address the problem?
Well, InMemory Analytics, I mean, basically what in-memory technology does, it's just a brand new way of housing a lot of data, and it just sweeps out the old stuff, all the old disk drives, all the old aggregation of data, the hierarchies, all the complexity and cost and really manpower that goes into handling all this data is eliminated completely. And all you now have is a solid state in-memory technology that your analytics goes against. So no matter how much data you have, you can get virtually instantaneous results.
How does this scale?
Scales in a linear fashion, so the more you add, it simply, you produce the same results. So, if you have a data set of a few million rows, maybe you get sub-second response time. For a billion rows, maybe you get 1 second, 2 second response time. So it's very linear.
Yeah. On the hardware side, how demanding is this?
Well, we did a test with a big CPG company in the United States, and they gave us virtually all their POS and marketing data for the last 3-4 years. We put it in the database, and it was in the billions of rows, the multiple billion, tens of billions of rows, and they weren't sure how it was going to work. They got sub-second response time for the most part, and we put it on $500,000 worth of off-the-shelf standard hardware, right? So, and that hardware price is dropping. So really, the price of hardware with this technology is almost irrelevant in the cost of managing big data today. I was going to say the old days, but in today's current environment for the most companies, this hardware is really expensive and prohibitive, in terms of being cost effective to solve business problems.
All right. We talked a little bit about what and a little bit why, and I asked you about who, and you said you can't tell me, but you can tell me that.
Well, what I'll tell you is this. We have 6 customers in Canada who have bought HANA today. They bought it last quarter. We have another 10 or 12 that will buy it this quarter, and we have probably double that next quarter. Our first live HANA customer is scheduled to go live in December. And they've promised me they'll sing from the rooftops about what this technology is going to do for their business. It's fascinating. It was something they simply couldn't do with hardware or software in the past in any kind of cost-effective way. And as they load it up, it's amazing to all of us how easy it works.
Well, if they're singing it from the rooftops, I imagine we'll hear them.
You will hear them. You will hear them.
Mark Aboud, thanks very much.
My pleasure. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.